Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and it's time for more spoilers from War of the Spark, and this set of spoilers contains the craziest card that has been spoiled so far. I actually thought it was some kind of prank. The funny thing is, it's the exact card we needed to play up against this crap, but I thought it might cost 4. Let's just say it doesn't. But first, we've got Huatli Corazón del Sol, or Heart of the Sun. You get 7 loyalty for 3, which is utterly ridiculous, and you can put her in Selesnya or mono white or mono green, which is crazy. But unfortunately, because of her idiotic passive ability, you're going to put her in absolutely nothing except for Toxic AIDS Cancer. Every creature that you control assigns an amount of combat damage equal to its toughness instead of its power. Period. I don't recall that saying anything about creatures with Defender attacking as if they didn't have Defender. So to call this a wall flipper enabler, no. It just makes your 0/6 wall freaking obnoxious because it can do 6 damage in combat now, but it can't do anything to actually progress the game. Now, there are 2 wall flipper enabler cards. One's an Elder Dragon. I honestly don't remember what the other one is. But, I would look it up or learn real quick if I'm playing against that deck, and I will save a removal spell or a counter spell for it every time. So I'm just going to end up banging my head up against a parking lot full of your stupid walls while you do nothing. That deck is such fragile glass cannon garbage. I hate everything about it, and I hate losing to it even more, which pretty much never happens. So this is even worse because, it's a 3rd Defender Flipper enabler. Well, you still can't attack, so not really. And to make sure that the game goes absolutely nowhere as slowly as possible, they gave her 7 loyalty and then a -3 that says gain an amount of life equal to the largest toughness between creatures you control. Wonderful. So with a 0/6 wall, you gain 12 life while sitting there doing nothing, not progressing the game in any way, doing absolutely nothing to win the game. And then, that passive, it's not optional. All creatures, all the time that you control, assign damage using their toughness, whether you want them to or not. I can't imagine what this would go in, except for a wall install, just pain in the ass deck. So, I mean, they could put her in Esper Control, but, there's so many control spells, there's, no creatures, why would you bother? I can't think of anything this would go in, but just in my head, whatever it goes in would be so annoying to play against. So, I hate everything about this card, other than the fact that it's in Spanish. So next up, we got Guildpare Informant. What do those 2 words mean together or have anything to do with each other? I have no idea. I mean, why isn't it called Jace's Informant? Why is it specifically the Guild Pact? He pretty much quit that job. I mean, he's still the Guild Pact, but I mean, with that attendance record, you gotta wonder. Anyway, it's a 1/1 for 3. It's a fairy rogue, so this is usually some shit. Yeah, modern format, I'm looking at you. It's flying, of course, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, proliferate, because, of course. Thank God literally anything can kill this, because I hate proliferate. Whatever, Esper Control, because of 1 card in this spoiler set, just killed planeswalkers. You can't play planeswalkers anymore, sorry. And so, by extension, proliferate is dead on arrival too, so thank God. Oh, by the way, that card is actually from the Planeswalker deck. But next up, we got Jace's Projection, also from the Planeswalker deck. It's number 272 out of 264. And it's a 2/2 for 4, and whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on Jace's Projection. That's pretty damn good, even if you never artificially drew a card, because that's +1 per turn. And then pay 4, put a loyalty counter on target Jace Planeswalker. Even if you didn't use that, this is a badass creature. It costs 4, but come on, a free counter every turn, plus every time you draw, you get another one. Unfortunately, I feel like Esper Control or Is It Drakes might run this. Ooh, I don't like this. You just got 2 really damn good reasons to buy the Planeswalker deck, so that's cool, but I don't really like these cards. And next up, we got the exclusive unique rare from the Jace Planeswalker deck. It is Jace's Silly Hat. And Jace's Silly Hat, when you cast it for 5 as a sorcery, kind of high, you can return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hand, doesn't matter if they're yours or theirs, and then search your library for Jace. Not a Jace, specifically Jace from the Planeswalker deck, so, not that great, really. And by the way, here is Jace, Arcane Strategist. He's a 4 loyalty for 6, absolutely horrifically terrible artwork, but this entire set, I don't know if you guys noticed, but wow, subpar artwork. I mean, it's just bad, just across the board. It's just bad, inaccurate, badly drawn. Ugh. It must not be the same artist that they've been using for like the last year. It can't be. So anyway, his passive ability is whenever you draw exactly specifically your second card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Not bad. Fun little bonus there. And then +1, draw a card. So, I mean, there you go. And then -7 creatures you control can't be blocked this turn. Hey, you can do that for 5 in white and just win the game, and they get lifelinks. Now we got 2 ways to do it, as if anybody would actually play this card. So this isn't like terrible, but it's not good either. If this costs 5, it would be like, okay, now we got something. But at 6, eh. Next up, we got some ass quality cell phone shot of Nicol Bolas Dragon God. Thanks to whoever leaked it with that way. Much respect to the game and the lore and the player base. Clearly, I hope they send you more spoilers in the future because of the wonderful way that you treated this one. So this is a virtually impossible to cast single red, single blue, triple black. Which, what mana base would that be? I have no idea. Not one that exists in the game, I can tell you that. And then for that ridiculous cost, you get 4 loyalty. But Nicol Bolas Dragon God has all loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers on the battlefield. Now, I do believe this was previously spoiled in that big Reddit post. But what the hell, it's Bolas. I mean, let's cover it again. So +1, you draw a card. Each opponent exiles a card from their hand or a permanent they control. Pretty tasty. -3, destroy target creature or planeswalker because duh. And then -8, each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or planeswalker loses the game. Boring and stupid alt. It's either going to do nothing and you're going to be mad, or it's going to do something and they're going to be mad. But theoretically, after +1ing them enough times, which is going to take forever, you could just -8 and win. I hate pretty much everything about this. The loyalty, the cost, the color mix, the abilities, the passive. It's just dumb. Now, the thing is, you could give him probably, I would assume, a +3 ability because he has the same loyalty abilities as all other planeswalkers on the battlefield. I think at least a couple of them have +3s, so he could get to that 8 like real damn quick. But in order to specifically get rid of like the last remaining legendary creature or planeswalker, he'd have to -3 probably at least once, unless you're playing a hyper control deck, but then, why have him? So, I mean, I don't know if weak is the right word, but pretty hard to play. And next we finally have Oketra revealed. This is Oketra el gato más lindo. Trust me, that's how you pronounce that. Also, it has daña dos veces, which means it's the cat so nice it can hit you twice. That's a direct translation. And whenever you cast, not successfully resolve, but attempt to cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie warrior token that has vigilance. Holy crap. And it's already a 3/6 for 5. I mean, that's pretty good. And it's double strike, so I mean, pretty much a 6/6 for 5. Oh, and as you probably suspect at the bottom is whenever it dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it on top of its owner's library third from the top. That's annoying, but at least it isn't indestructible. And at least it didn't use the exact mechanical wording from the Scarab God, which was, I believe, word for word. It was, don't even try to remove this. You're not going to. Nothing you do can get rid of this. Piss off. Just forfeit the game. So this is just an absolute game ender for any kind of white City's Blessing Ascend, just dump it out deck. I mean, 4/4s with Vigilance, you could just swing away with those. I mean, they'd have to board wipe multiple times because every time you cast a tiny little crappy 1/1 or whatever, you get a 4/4 with it for free, whether it resolves or not. There is almost no way to stop this card. You basically remove this within 1 turn or you lose the game. So that's really pushing it, but it does cost 5, and the deck set this would benefit in don't really need a 5 cost, and if they do, it's going to be Lyra. So we'll see who plays this and what density it gets. Next up, we got Sarkhan Sin Amo, which I thought meant without love, which would make sense, but apparently that's like the verb form or something. It's not the noun form. Oh yeah, that would be amor. Apparently that translates in Spanish to without masters, so they translated it on Mythic Spoiler to Sarkhan the Masterless. I even read it through Google Translate because you wouldn't want to be like, Te amo, and somebody would be like, you want to be my master? And they'd be like, no, I love you. It's the same word. What the hell? So anyway, getting past that lunacy, it's a 5 for 5. He's a rare, so he has a plus and a minus, but no alt. So his passive is completely insane. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, every single dragon that you currently control does 1 point of damage to those creatures, or that creature. Basically, each attacking creature. I mean, if you have 5 dragons out on the battlefield, nobody can attack you, but you probably would have won anyway, so, like, is it really overpowered? But, boy, attack suppression is really big in this set, apparently. So his +1 is until end of turn, each planeswalker you control becomes a 4/4 red dragon and gains flying, which is obviously absolutely batshit crazy until I settle the wreckage all of them. And then because you just need more dragons in your life, -3, create a 4/4 dragon creature token with flying. Kiss my ass, Sarkhan. I hope you die in the story. Next up, Spark Reaper. It's a 2/3/4/3, and if you pay 3 and sacrifice a creature or planeswalker, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Wow, is that filler jank? That is unplayable trash. Maybe in a Kidnapper deck where you got like 5 different active trees and effects and you need to sack it before you give it back. I mean, it's a perfect card for that, but like 3 mana? Boy, I don't know. And next up we got Rapeor de Huatli. This is a 2-cost 2/3 with Vigilancia. And when it enters the battlefield, proliferate, because why not? I hate that effect. I hate this creature, and a 2/3 for 2 is actually good, so of course you would play this in some kind of Super Friends that shares colors with it, and that pisses me off. Next up, finally we get to see what this artwork is from. Commence the Endgame. It's a 6-cost blue instant. This spell cannot be countered, which you know that's always good. So you draw 2 cards and then amass X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Well, it's a good thing the spell can't be countered because it's crap. I mean, by the time you have 6 mana available in blue, or even like blue color mix, boy, I mean, Simic, okay. Let's say you drew to like 4. Ooh, amass 4. So what? They'll just blow it up with some simple little kill spell. Amass is just terrible. And honestly, this card is terrible. I mean, you get 2 cards out of it. Ooh, and it can't be countered. Ooh, you can duplicate it, but I don't know. Another waste of a rare in my opinion. I mean, I will say the amass decks look really draw heavy right now, but so what? Doesn't mean anybody's going to play 3-color Bolos Amass. Oh, let's save this one for last. I'll hang a U-turn and come back to this one very shortly. So next up we have Deliver Unto Evil with some really 90s looking artwork. I do not know what happened with this set. So this is a 3-cost black sorcery. It's a rare. Choose up to 4 target cards in your graveyard. If you control a Bolas Planeswalker, return those cards to your hand. Otherwise, so I guess if you don't control a Bolas Planeswalker, that otherwise could mean like 3 different things, but I assume that's how they wanted it. An opponent chooses 2 of them, leave the chosen cards in your graveyard and put the rest into your hand, which is almost the exact same thing. I mean, they'll give you the 2 shittiest cards, but you're still getting 2 cards. I mean, if it's a land or Evolving Wilds or something, okay, cool. They might not have a good option. I mean, you never know. Oh, and by the way, exile Deliver Unto Evil, because that's what you do with problematic cards that can be cast over and over and over and over and over. Like Nexus of Fate should have said. So this card's unplayable trash. Next up we got Ashiok's Skulker. It's a 3/5 for 5, and she's hushing me, but I'm just going to go ahead and hush her because nobody's going to play her. So hush that, you bitch. If you pay 4, she can't be blocked. Wow, that is like the definition of unplayable. Like, that's even too slow, too late, and too expensive for like an all-blue equipment deck. Like, literally strap every weapon known to man to her and then, oh, it can't be blocked. So what? It's still too slow and still too expensive. Hey, speaking of Ashiok, it's Ashiok, and of course, as always, she's in Dimir colors, which is going to be a problem because that's part of Esper, which is, of course, the #1 most problematic deck right now. So there's nothing wrong with this card, but think of it in the context of existing Dimir discard loop horseshit and Esper control spam garbage. So, spells and abilities your opponent's control can't cause their controller to search their library. So basically, that one bird thing from Amonkhet that I can't remember, something sensor, Evan Mind Sensor or something like that. Cool ability, very, 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 very narrow, but cool, I guess, and you have to remember that that's what it does. Also, I mean, 5 loyalty for 3, and she has a -1. Okay, so target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard, then exile each opponent's graveyard. I mean, that's just mill with an added little fuck you at the end. Oh, you think maybe you might be able to recycle it and get your cards back? Ha, no. So she is like the cure for Arclight Phoenix decks and any kind of is it spell spam crap. I mean, they've been bringing out a 0-4 Drake all day long. So I appreciate that for sure. But besides that, with those two abilities, she does absolutely nothing. So she's an annoying mill enabler that might go in a sideboard to stop one specific deck that not many people play anymore. So I don't really like a whole lot about that. But I was thinking with how awesome she is in the storyline and mysterious, we'd have something better than this. I mean, this is a very unique set of abilities for a Planeswalker, so that's cool. But I just thought we'd see something better. So that's a shame. Maybe next time, Windsock Head. Next up, we got Spark Harvest. That's Domri, by the way, getting killed, which is good because it says with the harvest of Domri's spark, the Elder Spell began to fuel Bolas's ascension to godhood. See, you shouldn't have worked with Bolas, you dumbass. You deserve what you got. I hate Gruul. I hate everything about them. So anyway, it's a 1-cost black sorcery, but as an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, or pay 4. So in other words, 5 total. And it's basically Bone Splinters on steroids because you can destroy a target creature or planeswalker. Very nice. If you have a deck that runs Bone Splinters, run this now. I mean, it's just hands down, run this. It is better. Bone Splinters is, as an additional cost to cast this, sack a creature, cost 1, sorcery, black, destroy target creature. This is, oh, well, you don't have a creature, you can just pay 4 more, and you can target a planeswalker for the same cost at the same speed, at the same rarity. This is an insanely good card, and we needed this. Nobody has the money for Vraska's freaking Contempt, and I am so sick of getting stuck at 3 mana and not being able to cast it. So I will take this all day. Hey, speaking of that card, if the person who wrote it was on crack, let's loop back the Elder Spell. People are losing their shit over this card, and they should be. This is exactly what we needed to balance out such a royally fucked up idea like putting 36 Planeswalkers in one set, okay? That was a disastrous mistake, and they realized it, so they printed this shit. Are you ready for this? I assure you this is a real card and not a prank, as far as I know. This is the Elder Spell for 2 black sorcery speed. It's a rare. Destroy any number of target planeswalkers. I could stop reading right there and you'd be saying, what the fuck? But I'm going to keep reading because your mind isn't blown enough yet. Choose a planeswalker you control. Put 2 loyalty counters on it for each planeswalker destroyed this way. Oh, so on top of devastating a Super Friends deck or just shutting down, I don't know, Esper wins with Planeswalker, there's going to be a lot of decks that use Planeswalkers. Let's just put that out there. So they're done. You just spent 2 mana to just fuck their whole entire board up. Now you get to immediately ult your own Planeswalker and win the game. So you blow up, 1, 2, 3 their Planeswalkers, we'll just say 3, and then +6 one of yours, and then just drop an ult. And I mean like a real Planeswalker, not these glorified enchantments that you can attack, which is what all the shitty uncommon ones are. Oh, but your opponent's not playing Planeswalkers. Oh no, you wasted the slot in your deck. Oh, that's right, you can target your own Planeswalkers with this. So blow up Liliana, blow up your own decorative, useless pieces of shit, aka the uncommon Planeswalkers. They're kind of Planeswalkers / lawn ornament. And then just use Vraska's ult and win instantly. This is completely fucked. This entire spell is completely fucked. This entire set is completely fucked. So, oh, they're gonna have to ban this, right? Fuck no! You think I want to play against this Super Friend control horse shit that they're setting up by printing 36 fucking Planeswalkers? No, I do not. Now, there is one little catch to this spell. The way this is phrased, I'm somewhat sure that you cannot cast it unless you have a Planeswalker in play. It doesn't directly say target Planeswalker you control or target a Planeswalker you control. It says choose. But it also doesn't say you may choose. So the closest card I can come up with is Metamorphic Alteration. And this is a terrible example because I can't test it because you can choose the same creature that you targeted the first time. But I also know that when it says, enchant creature, so basically enchant target creature, and then as Metamorphic Alteration enters the battlefield, choose a creature, that choosing isn't targeting because it bypasses hexproof. You can enchant your 1/1 servo and then target their Carnage Tyrant and it will work just fine. So choosing versus targeting, completely different things. But you also can't just ignore that middle part. You have to resolve the middle part of the spell. So if indeed you cannot cast the Elder spell without having a planeswalker you control in play, that's a bit of a limiting factor. And I would lean towards it working that way, just based on the way it's phrased. I'd have to see a ruling, because I'm not like a word for word ruling expert person. But boy, does that pump the brakes on this. You think if you're going up against like some kind of 3-color control spam Super Friends garbage, that they're going to let you get a Planeswalker in play? This almost just empowers Super Friends decks because it doesn't let anybody get any Planeswalkers into play after you have some, and then you've got this in your back pocket just in case. And then, well, it would probably be a 3-color or more deck if you're playing Super Friends, and this is double black, period. So you have to be able to generate 2 black as well, not any other color. So the usefulness of this just drops straight down the toilet. I think that must explain why you could kill 5 Planeswalkers with 2 mana, because that's just stupidly ridiculous. But adding a sentence to the end of it of you can only play this spell if you own a Planeswalker, otherwise you can't resolve the second part of the spell, which means if you can't establish targeting, you can't cast it in the first place. But then again, it's not targeting, so I don't know. I'm sure somebody somewhere posted the answer, but not anywhere I looked. So that's almost unfortunate because I hate the fact that there's too many Planeswalkers in play, and I would love a copy of this spell, as utterly broken as it is. But still, even if that were the case, I would say the fact that this enables Super Friends decks while also stopping them means it's like self-defeating and has no reason to exist. They should have just done a different version of this that's more reliable and purely anti-Planeswalker. I mean, it should have literally just been 3 black, sorcery speed, destroy any number of target Planeswalkers. And then just leave it at that. But we do have, a 4-cost white that'll nuke every single Planeswalker. So, I mean, we got that at least. So, I don't know about this card. I mean, I really hate it. I really dislike the fact that this exists. And what people might use it, what types of decks, and what this can do in a game, it makes it even worse. So, just terrible card. Terrible. And hopefully you guys are finally starting to understand what a disaster this set was from conception to final approval, release, and playtesting. This just takes the shitty standard meta for the last year and a half and amplifies it times 10. It's unplayable, unfun, control-heavy, binary win condition, just who did you sit down against, what are they running, that determines who wins, just bullshit. It's terrible. So look forward to finding a different game to play until Wizards gets their shit together, and I've lost track of the sheer number of cards they would have to ban to make it playable, and if they banned 20 cards, I don't think all the longtime players are going to stand for that and stick around and still play the game. So we're headed for the biggest disaster in the history of the game. This is going to make the release of Darksteel look like a little tiny oopsie, and that set almost single-handedly killed the entire game permanently. But they're like, oh, you remember that? Well, hold my beer, we can do worse than that. So, should be interesting. I'm going to be definitely not playing anything that resembles Standard. I might draft this pile of horse shit just for the memes. But other than that, Constructed is fucked for the next year. Bare minimum. So thanks, Wizards. Enjoy your bankruptcy. I might come buy all your furniture at the auction that you'll have to hold when the bank orders it. And don't forget to subscribe to Desolator Gaming, my second channel. I'll see you guys next video.